It started with a seat she wasn't supposed to take. Mia had missed her train, not by much, just 2 minutes, but enough to ruin her entire schedule, or so she thought. She stood on the platform, frustrated, tired, replaying the morning in her head. If she hadn't stopped for coffee, if she had walked faster, if she had just been on time. But she wasn't, and now everything was delayed. She sighed, checked the board, next train in 20 minutes. Great. She sat down on a bench, pulling her coat tighter around her. The air was cold, the sky gray, one of those days where nothing felt right. When the train finally arrived, she stepped in without thinking, found the first empty seat by the window, and sat down. She didn't notice him at first, not right away. She was too busy staring outside, watching the city blur past, trying to calm her thoughts, trying to reset her day. But then, "Hey, I think you're in my seat." She turned, slightly confused. "What?" He smiled a little. Not annoyed, not rude, just calm. "This seat, I always sit here." Mia blinked. "You always sit here?" "Yeah. Every morning, same train, same spot." She looked at the empty seats around. "You can sit anywhere." "I know," he said, "but I like that one." There was something about the way he said it, not demanding, just honest. Mia hesitated. Then, without really knowing why, she stood up. "Fine, it's yours." He smiled again. "Thanks." She moved to the seat across from him, still a little confused, a little amused. Who cares about a seat that much? But as the train continued moving, she noticed something. He wasn't on his phone, wasn't distracted. He was just sitting there, looking out the window, like it actually meant something to him. A few minutes passed. Then, "Rough morning?" he asked. She raised an eyebrow. "Is it that obvious?" "A little," he said. She let out a small laugh. "Miss my train." "Ah, that explains it." Silence. But not uncomfortable. "So, do you always talk to strangers who steal your seat?" she asked. He smiled slightly. "Only when they look like they need it." She paused. That wasn't what she expected. Need what? A distraction? Mia looked at him. Really looked this time. He wasn't trying to impress her, was not forcing conversation. He just noticed. "That's a weird skill," she said. Quote, "comes with sitting in the same place every day. You start noticing things, people, patterns." She shook her head slightly. "Still weird." "Maybe," he said. "But it worked. You're not thinking about missing your train anymore." She opened her mouth to argue, then stopped. Because he was right. She smiled. "Okay, maybe a little, good." Another pause. Then, "I'm Lucas." "Mia." They didn't shake hands. Didn't need to. Something about the moment felt simple, real. The train slowed. Next stop approaching. Mia checked the screen. That was hers. She stood up. "Well, this is me. Same time tomorrow?" he asked suddenly. She blinked. "What?" "This train. This seat." He gestured lightly. "Unless you plan on missing it again." Doralorosro. She laughed softly. "I don't know. Maybe I will. Then I guess I'll see you again." There was something in the way he said it. Not confident, not uncertain. Just open. She hesitated for a second. Then, "Maybe you will." The doors opened, she stepped off, the train pulled away. And that should have been it. Just a random conversation, a small moment in a busy day. But the next morning, she was early. On purpose, she stood on the platform, watching the train arrive, and without overthinking it, she got on, walked straight to that same seat, and sat down. He was already there. Of course he was. He looked up, smiled slightly. "You made it. Didn't miss it this time." "Good. I was starting to think I'd have to wait another day." She raised an eyebrow. "You were waiting, maybe." She sat down across from him again. And just like that, it became a routine. Not planned, not discussed. Just natural. Every morning. Same train, same seats, same quiet conversations. Some days they talked a lot, other days barely at all, but it didn't matter because something was building, something neither of them rushed. Weeks passed. Then one morning, Lucas wasn't there. Mia sat in her seat, waiting, watching every stop, but he never got on. She told herself it didn't matter. It was just a routine, just a coincidence. But the next day, he still wasn't there, and now, it felt different, empty. On the third day, she almost didn't go, almost chose a different train, but something told her to stay. And then, at the last second, He stepped in, looking slightly out of breath, like he had rushed. Their eyes met, relief, immediate. Unspoken, "You disappeared," she said. "Work trip," he replied. "Couldn't text you since I don't have your number." A pause. There it was, the obvious thing they had both ignored, until now. Mia smiled slightly. "Yeah, that might help." He took out his phone. "So, should we fix that?" She nodded. "Yeah, we should." They exchanged numbers. Simple. But somehow, it changed everything. Because now, it wasn't just the train. It was messages, late-night conversations, random thoughts sent throughout the day. It grew, slowly, naturally, until one evening, Lucas texted, "Can I ask you something?" "Sure, are we just train people, or something more?" Mia stared at the screen, heart beating a little faster. She thought about it, about the mornings, the conversations, the way she looked forward to seeing him, the way it didn't feel accidental anymore. "No," she typed. "I don't think we're just that." A moment passed. Then, "Good," he replied, "because I don't want this to stay on a train." She smiled. Neither did she. A few days later, they met outside the station. No train, no routine, just them, walking through the city, talking, laughing, learning each other in a different way. And somewhere between missed trains, claimed seats, and quiet mornings, something real had formed. Not loud, not rushed, but steady. Because sometimes, it's not the big moments that change everything. It's the small ones, the ones you almost miss, like a train, or a seat, or a person, and somehow they didn't miss each other